Hello, Trailblazers. Welcome to the Trailblazers Palette Podcast. Today, I'm thrilled to introduce you to Yossi, an incredible artist who creates intricate and beautiful mandalas. Yossi not only crafts these stunning works of art, but also leads transformative courses through her program, Vivencia del Mandala, guiding students from beginners to advanced level. Her unique approach weaves together sacred geometry, numerology, and the meditative art of mandalas, empowering participants to reduce stress, spark creativity, and embark on profound journeys of self-discovery. Yossi started her mandala journey during a pivotal moment in her life, and the results have been nothing short of inspiring. Josie, you do beautiful, intricate mandalas, and you also have courses doing mandalas. Just starting out, if you can tell us why you love that.
Thank you, Sancha. Well, to be honest, I started working on them like 5 years ago, and I had no idea that I could draw anything further. A little flower in a boring business conversation. But I was pregnant. I have two boys. When I had my first boy, I suffered from postpartum depression, and it was really difficult for me. I wanted to have another kid, but I was scared of going into postpartum depression again. And I had my psychiatrist back in time told me like to find something artistic to do. But as I said before, I had no artistic skills. They were very well hidden for almost 42 years. And then I said, okay, I'll do Pilates. And then, I was pregnant. I was looking for, positions for nice pictures of my pregnancy doing Pilates. And I found rocks painted with mandalas. I didn't even know what a mandala was. I was just so shocked with. I fell in love. It was love at first sight with the color combination, with the structure, with the symmetry, and everything. I was so crazy about them that I wanted to try doing that, but I had no idea about tools, paints, surfaces, nothing. I started teaching myself, seeing these beautiful structures. And I just went to an art store, and I showed the selling people, the sellers, like, I want to do these, but there was no more information. There were no courses, no classes. But to be honest with you, Sancha, what amazed me the most was not, yeah, of course, the art is beautiful, but as I built the art, as I practiced, regardless of the ending result, I was becoming a calm person. I was calming down. I was relaxed. I was so happy doing this that I started hunting information. I said, like, someone had studied this mental process behind art. And then I understood that was a mandala. And then I started reading like crazy, because the sensation, the wellness I was feeling was overwhelming. And then my doctor said, you don't need to come anymore. You're healed. So whatever I was going through, honestly, the healing process shortened.
So mandalas healed you, Yossi.
Yeah, and I don't think it's a replacement. It just accelerates the process. There are chemical processing in the mind going on, and sometimes some people really need to continue pills and medication. But by all means, now I see students that continued their treatment with their psychologists, their psychiatrists, and that doesn't mean they have to stop, but they shorten the healing process. and their doctors are amazed.
Yeah,
So yes, there's something behind. There's a healing going on when you start creating mandalas.
yeah. And so, are you able to share a little bit more about that? Because I think that you've studied numerology and that too, haven't you?
Yeah, I think one thing leads you
Yeah.
to something else.
Yeah,
I
yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's
So,
not. It's a learning process that doesn't stop. First, you start like dotting. You can see people who actually stayed in the dotting process, which is great, or just the drawing or painting, whatever technique you're using to create the mandala. But in my case, I like studying, and understanding the processes behind what I am doing.
and learning, yeah,
Exactly. And now I am also about to start other classes about bio emotion, because I don't stop painting. I keep teaching, but I also went to sacred geometry, creating mandalas with more intricate structures using sacred geometry patterns. And it's literally, and also numerology to understand the vibration of numbers. If you listen to a music, you cannot see the music, but the vibration of the music is there, and it impacts your emotional body, your mental body. You can remember things from a song you hear on the radio. And it's the same thing with our thoughts and our emotions. When you're drawing a mandala, it's basically putting into colors and patterns what is going on there in that in those bodies that are made of vibration, like the music. See?
yeah.
Apologies about that. Let me repeat
That's right.
that part. um, yeah, so when you are drawing mandalas, for most people, it's just a form of art, which is good, but there are levels of consciousness. And if people want to understand deeper the meaning of a mandala, it's a matter of to start including other topics and other subjects and combining those. It's gonna get you much more rich scenario.
Yeah,
See?
I love the idea of that. Actually, the what you were talking about, the vibrations and the thoughts that go into that mandala, and I wonder how that impacts to other people viewing it. Like, because art is, well, for me, is a lot about emotion. The intent maybe that the artist put into it. I imagine it would be similar with a mandala. Do you think?
Yes, for example, there are mandalas that you can create, intuitively, and just put your soul over there. And then using studies of art therapists, you can like make an interpretation of what is going on in the subconscious mind of that person. But
Yeah.
also, you can do the other way. You can use, for example, the vibration of numbers, understanding the vibration of numbers. You can plan a whole mandala with a specific energy,
Wow.
and you can meditate with this mandala as you create it and after you create the mandala, and that can help you visualize things and also co-create things. And when
Yes.
I say this, people will think that I am crazy,
No,
but
not at all. Not
it's
at all.
happened
I'm
to me.
Yeah, yeah. Are you able to share like a story with us? Because
Yeah,
I'm fascinated by
no,
that.
what? Absolutely. For example, today it's well, let's not talk about today because days change. But let's suppose that that you want to heal the relationship with your mother. There are two numbers, like number 2 and number 7. If you go to study the meaning of the vibration of the numbers, number 2 is a maternal number. Number 7 talks about fertility also and maternity. So you can actually create a mandala with this basic number. For let's suppose I can tell you number 2, a yin yang would do, and a 7 pointed star, for example.
Right.
You can create, but as you create the mandala, you make an intention. Before you create the mandala, you make a meditation. You think about yourself, about your mother, about the relationship, how the relationship process has been, and what needs to be healed. And you can create that mandala with the intention of healing, understanding the process, learning from the difficulties of the relationship with the mother, for example. And the opposite, for example, the yin yang works out very well with number two and also number three. But number two, the yin yang symbol, is about how opposite energies compensate and make a perfect Tao line, middle Tao balance.
Mm.
So you can even you don't have to make a whole art out of it. You can create the mandala with the intention. You can even draw inside, like your mother and yourself on the other side, and try to see in a difficult uh, relationship how you guys can get together and combine forces to have a perfect balance,
Mm.
respecting each other's boundaries, etc., etc. You could do that for number seven. For example, women who want to be pregnant. There are women who cannot, they have a condition, it's difficult to. I've had a couple of cases with a couple of people I was doing some therapy. And of course, they still went to their doctors. They didn't replace the treatment, they were just putting an energetic effort that helped them. And both of them got pregnant.
Mm.
And they basically draw the mandala using the seed of life. But it's not the mandala, the power is within us,
Yeah.
you know, it's within us. We are using the power of the creation to combine that with the power of the number, with the intention to align our own energy,
Mm.
and putting all that into a pattern, into colors, into a mandala.
Yeah. So it's like an enhancement of what's already there. And by having that sort of strong, powerful intention channeled into the art, it could be quite amazing.
Yeah, for example, last I also like working these specific geometries in portals.
Mm.
And last solstice in last March, I created a Metatron's cube. The Metatron's cube has all the platonic solids, five platonic solids inside it. It's the building blocks of the creation. And I was really willing to go to a retreat in Shasta Mountain. And I had the financial resources already put into another investment, but I didn't have the financial resources for that specific trip. But I did this deep intention, and I said, like, Mount Shasta, if I am meant to go to this retreat and it's aligned with the plan of my soul, if
Mm.
it's aligned, if it's gonna be good for my evolution, I believe by creating this mandala, the energies will move in a way that I will be able to go. And believe it or not, I had many blockages in the road on the road. My husband had a business trip on the exact week of the retreat and other things going on. And all of the sudden, my husband told me, I was blaming actually my husband. I fought with my husband. Like, you don't want me to evolve. You know, I became toxic because we have that. We're trying to evolve,
Yeah.
but sometimes we are toxic too. I mean, we're
Yeah.
humans under construction, you know, souls constructing this the development process. And I was fighting him, and then I realized, you will not believe what happened to me. Metatron's cube, it's not only the cube, there's an angel, there's an angel, archangel associated in some traditions. It is believed uh, about the Metatron's angel. And I was even fighting the angel, the archangel, I have studied you, I have created the mandala. So I was putting bad energy. It's gonna happen eventually.
Mm, mm.
It's not all good, perfect, Yossi,
Yeah.
it's like I also make mistakes, but I learn through
Yeah.
them. So a minute right after I fought with the archangel, a dog bit me.
Oh no.
And then I
So I shouldn't
realized,
laugh at that, Yossi.
no, but I'm just telling you because it's funny, and because anybody who's listening to this, I believe will at some point. No, I am all spiritual and perfect now. That's not the way it goes.
Yeah. Yeah.
Every now and then you're back to the human path,
Yes.
making spiritual mistakes. And
Yeah.
then after I got bit by the dog, I realized that I was being arrogant because I was still using my knowledge
Mm,
about manifestation and doing all that, but I was being toxic.
mm,
And then I asked forgiveness. I became humbled and I said, yeah, nobody owes me anything if I studied spirituality or mandalas or numbers, whatever. It's going to happen, whatever is going to happen. And I just detached from the toxic caprice, And a week later, you will not believe what happened. My husband came back to me and said, check your email. He gave me the flight tickets. Then I got a discount from the retreat uh, administrators. And I ended up, more people enrolled in some classes. So I ended up getting the funds that I needed to go for my
mm.
retreat. So this is how it works.
Yeah.
It's not only that you have to sit and ask, and it's also about being humbled, about asking the universe, aligning your energy, but
Mm.
also letting go.
Yeah. Yeah, like the nearly like the yin yang you were talking about before. It's that balance of everything, isn't it?
Yeah, but you're trying to be balanced, but if you force the bar in
Mm.
a toxic way, and it's a very thin line, Sanchez, as we are learning how to use numbers. I mean, even a master in doing this will make a mistake, and then it
Mm.
ends up being a learning and a fun story like this one.
Yeah,
you
yeah.
know,
You've got your courses. So do you work one-on-one with people as well?
I do both. I have the classes and a community. I started just with recorded lessons. People just got there, but then I saw that people were buying. There were people just buying like a library of classes and not doing the classes. And I really wanted to trigger a change in their lives. It's not, I mean, when you're really committed to doing this, it's not only, let me sell my product. I really want people to change their lives.
Yeah.
And this is why I switched my proposal a little bit. I still have the recorded lessons, and I have this community. I teach there for a group of people every week. I teach them a lesson. We meditate together. We create a mandala with sacred geometry. I explained the meaning of the numbers, the symbols that are behind them, and then they make an intention there, because with one number you can work different things. For example, for number 7 you can work the mother relationship, but fertility, you can create a mandala for yourself or for somebody who is lazy to study, a kid for example. Yeah, number 7 is also the archetype of the investigator. See, the person who studies a lot, who wants to go deep dive the ocean of knowledge.
Yeah, yeah.
But this is what we do in class. Like, well, this number works for, according to the meaning of this number, you could work all these intentions. What is your intention? And everybody has like a minute or two with music, with breath
Mm.
work
Are these classes in person, Yossi?
online. with the pandemic, I
Yes.
think also I believe very much in this process, Sanche. And when we go online, I mean, you're in New Zealand or Australia, right? You're in
Australia,
Sydney,
yeah.
right? Yeah,
Brisbane.
exactly. And then I am here in Costa Rica. Actually, I'm gonna take a picture of both of us. And then, I mean, we're in totally different time
I know,
zones.
it's cool, isn't it? Yeah.
And then it's funny because we can communicate. I mean, I
Yeah.
wouldn't have met this beautiful lady if it wasn't because of the internet.
Mm, mm. Yes, I
See?
feel the same way. I think I've met so many
Yeah.
people, amazing people like you online, and got so many beautiful friends because of that opportunity that allows.
And it's like I believe it's a soul
Yes.
mini. I don't know what I mean. I've met some students that are in Morocco. I have one student in Morocco that I met her like I met yourself. Then she
Mm.
came to Costa Rica for vacations, and then I went to Morocco before the chat.
Oh, wow.
See,
Wow.
and then by talking, I discovered like, oh my God, we have so much in common.
Yes. Yes.
And also, for example, in April before I went to Morocco, I met the ladies in person. We've been together like for 2 years online,
Mm.
and then we were in Spain, and it was like I know them
Yeah, that's
forever. I
amazing.
mean,
That's so nice, Yossi.
yeah. And in November we're gonna have a meeting in Mexico
Yeah, yeah.
with the ladies from Mexico. Next year, US. So
Mm.
it's like you meet people online, and then you meet people. It's amazing.
Yeah,
You don't
yeah.
feel they are strangers. You
No,
don't.
it's so true. It's so true.
And also when it is online, I mean, I like the hugging, the nurturing. I'm like a motherly person too.
Mm,
But I feel when you're online, people open up more easily because they are in their safe space.
mm. Yeah, true. I hadn't thought of that.
On in person, the advantage is, for example, they leave if they have a problem in the house and they want to talk about that, they're away from the problem.
Mm,
That's the advantage. But the way we try to, when I do these holistic sessions, is just to try to, this person is in their home in a time in which they're alone. So they can open up freely and they can cry and they can.
yeah. I imagine you've had a lot of beautiful experiences, Yossi, within your group, and sharing.
I've had everything, Sanchi.
Mm.
The amazing, the bad, the odd, the
Yeah.
awkward. And I think what this whole process has given to me is learning,
Mm,
adaptability also, in that once you start finding value in every experience, you start accumulating more beautiful experience than awkward ones. But to be honest, I've had all types of I mean, I've had experiences in which my students have manifested amazing things like two babies, for example,
mm.
or people manifesting their dream job, trips, money, inheritance, and many beautiful things. But on the other hand, I've had situations in which I had faced, for example, plagiarism, stalkers, because
Oh, wow.
this
That's
is
a little
going
bit
to
scary.
happen. Yeah, and then, or sometimes sending a lawyer to someone because they are, yeah, copying or
Mm.
not copying in a good way, in a bad way,
Yeah. Yeah. Which I think
So,
as artists online, we deal with that, don't we? It's like we open ourselves up to, that not everybody has the best intentions when they do our course or use our work.
yeah, but I think everything is something we have to learn, something, it's in our energy. Sometimes it. I'm not a victim.
Mm, mm,
I have to be accountable for my own energy. See, and then every time I have an awkward situation, then I, instead of blaming the other person, I used to blame the other person and
mm.
position myself as a victim.
Yeah.
But with all this learning process, I see, okay, if this is awkward and this is going on, it's because my energy somehow is not aligned with love. It's
Mm,
with fear.
mm, mm.
And then you start analyzing yourself and readjusting your energy.
Do you mind sharing a little bit more about that, Yossi? That's quite interesting. Yeah, like how did you find that process of going from victim to victor in your life?
Yeah, I was reading a book about how to manifest money and how good money is, how to switch the mindset around money. And then because I eventually had many people asking me like, yo, see, okay, it's not a trip, I need the cash. See, and then I said, yeah, that's perfectly possible, but I started studying the field, the quantum field, when it comes about the vibration of the money. Sometimes we have a lot of prosperity, a lot of money, the money inflows heavily in our lives, and some other times it's not. And then in one of the books, I now don't remember which one, it was said that one of the things we had to change in order to connect with the vibration of the frequency of money is to understand that we are responsible for our own energy. And every time something happens, it's probably a thought that was in our subconscious mind that attracted that situation. And that to overcome this, we had to start changing and reprogramming our mindset to start seeing value in everything that happened. If you were abandoned by your parents, what is the value to this? How this made me stronger? Every tough situation, convert that in from suffering into a learning. And it's
Mm.
not easy to do that.
Yeah, so you're reframing it. Yeah.
Exactly, and then reframe it. Better word.
No,
And
yeah.
then I started thinking about it. We had a difficult situation because we were launching one of our classes.
Mm.
And when we're launching our classes, we create these WhatsApp groups. I don't know if you've heard,
Yep.
because in some countries WhatsApp is not very famous or very very popular. Now I understand why. And a fraudster came into the group and started calling the participants, trying to get money.
Oh, gee.
They copied our picture, and they said they were part of our team, and they
Mm.
were saying, oh yeah, install this application so you can have the class for free. And people believed that, and then they installed the application, and then these people hacked their phones,
Mm.
and then they started calling people asking for money. And
Wow.
of course, I was 3 days super sad about it because I couldn't believe there were people doing that,
Mm.
taking advantage of someone's goodwill, you know?
Yeah.
But then I said, what do I have to learn from this?
Mm.
This thought made me wonder. And then I said, like, I want to launch my classes, but I have to do it differently. How do I make it safer for the participants? And then we discovered other strategies. If this hadn't happened to me, probably I would have stayed the same.
Mm. Mm.
And then I would have stayed the same. I grew.
Yeah.
It was painful, but I grew. I mean, if hadn't had been with postpartum depression, I wouldn't have found the mandalas.
Yeah, and what an incredible journey you've had.
Yeah, I mean, it's been like a roller coaster, but I feel blessed. Anybody listening to this podcast, start seeing value in everything you've been through, and
Yeah.
things will change right away. It's a switch of perspective. Don't position yourself as victims. You're not victims. Sorry about so don't hate me for telling you the truth.
I think we can though. Like I know in my life, it's sometimes a default that I'll just blame or feel like I do fall into that victim mode. And I have to say, yeah, with I think age and wisdom, it's becoming easier to see when I do that.
It's painful when you see you're the author of what is going on in your
Mm,
life. So I think, I mean, I've been a victim many times. And to be honest with you, for example, I victimized myself over a relationship that I had like 25 years ago. And
mm,
after I changed my mind, I thought like, oh my God, I was not victim. I was doing wrong things too in that relationship too.
yeah,
So just when we take the courage, we are courageous enough to say, no, I am accountable.
yeah.
Things change for better.
Yeah. And even I know with friendships and things like that that haven't worked out or the dynamics been off, it's like asking myself, what's my role in it and how can I learn from that? It's been a real eye opener going forward and making new friendships to, I guess, not repeat old patterns.
Exactly. This is why we have the mandalas with the base number 9.
Right.
Number 9 is to close cycles. So we can restart a new cycle, flourishing, a fresh new start
Yeah.
that we deserve.
So, what I'm curious about, because I don't know a lot about mandalas, just what like you can't see, but Yossi's got a beautiful wall behind her of all these different mandalas that are just gorgeous. But like, okay, so if you're working on particular numbers with numerology, how does that actually translate into a physical mandala?
Yeah. First, for example, is the intention. The always the power of the intention. And then, as I told you, you can, for example, for number 2, one symbol that works very well is the yin yang, or you can do a Vesica Pisces. Actually, the logos of Gucci, Chanel
Oh, okay, wow.
have it behind it.
Yes.
If you see the St. Peter's Square, the way it's all located, they have a Vesica Pisces. It's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
very special symbol that resembles the second day of creation. And also, early Christians used it as a symbol.
Wow.
And many other cultures. There's also Vesica Pisces in Hinduism, in the Egyptian traditions. The symbol is really strong. And then you can create, it's just two circles,
Mm,
like they intersect with each other. If you see the Chanel MasterCard, they have the Vesica Pisces behind. So you can actually do this, and then you say number 2 is good for what? Then number 2 is good for many things. It's like understanding your duality, understanding your mysteries, also working out, for example, the karma of dependency when someone is never happy because someone did not accept the person to, or when we depend on other person to be happy, or that we depend to be accepted in a group, to fit in a group, to
mm.
detach yourself from dependency. You also work a drug situation.
Right.
Codependency of drug situations can be worked out with the mandala number 2. But it's
Wow.
not only that you create the mandala, you hang it, and your problems are going to be solved. No, it's a matter of meditating also with the mandala.
Mm,
See? So you set the intention, you create a mandala, you meditate with that mandala, and after the mandala is created, you have a routine of meditation. And when you align your energy with the quantum field, with the vibration that you're trying to adapt, then this crystallized into physical form in your
wow.
life.
Yeah. I find that so fascinating.
Yeah. For money, for example, for money, it's number three. We use
Mm.
number three is the basis. And there are many symbols like a triangle. You could use like a triangle rotating with Fibonacci sequence. I mean, there are so many things that can be done with a triangle from an artistic perspective. I mean, the
Yeah.
symbol is there. You can then just release your creativity.
Right. So there is sort of freedom in that creative process of the finished piece.
We manifest, I mean, the neuroscientists have proven that we manifest by focus.
Hmm.
And not only by positive thought, but also the brain does not differentiate from the reality and a vision you have. And when you create that vision and then you connect with the emotions, elevated emotions of high vibration, then you can actually start, like spreading this vibration that is eventually going to connect to the quantum field. The point is, many people have difficulties visualizing and meditating by breathing. And when you are creating a mandala, you also deep dive into a meditative state of mind doing something.
Mm.
So while you create mandalas, you can allow yourself to start visualizing. You enter like into, I don't know how to explain it. Probably there's a movie in which people were doing what they love and their minds were into a bubble. And then you see that when you're creating a mandala, nothing else exists.
Mm.
It's you and your mandala, but it's because you're fully connected with yourself in a deeper way.
Yeah. Yeah.
So your problems do not exist, issues do not exist. It's you and your mandala. So you're
Yeah.
meditating actively speaking.
Yeah. That's beautiful.
So this is
And
why, because there are some people who say, "Wow, why do I have to create a mandala if I can just breathe and visualize?" But there are people who need other processes to get into the meditation state of mind.
that's so interesting, isn't it? Because I'm realizing like how much of a visual type person I am. So I imagine that that's where art and like physically creating something is a very meditative process. And it's so much, I guess, richer than the shut your eyes and meditate type yoga thing is beautiful, but it's I don't find as strong as the art creation and what I imagine you're talking about here with doing the mandalas.
To be honest with you, it's crazy because you can, when you also learn to visualize in your mind, but somehow put your thoughts into this physical creation of art,
Mm.
it's like you find a theme park.
Yes,
Isn't
yes. Oh, it's so true.
it? And you don't
Yeah.
have to pay tickets to go in. I
I
mean,
love that analogy. The possibilities are like endless. I'm like, I don't really understand how people can say it could be boring because there's so much.
but it's, I mean, the quantum field is, there's no limit in the quantum field, as
Yeah.
there's no limit in art.
Yeah. And that connection between the two is just so amazing. So that's why I'm finding what you're talking about so fascinating.
The best moment in which you actually are in the perfect moment to manifest in is in which you are in perfect balance.
Mm.
And art speaking, it's like a white piece of paper or white canvas. This is the moment in which you can start creating. As you create art on a white, I mean, there are people who actually get scared. You hit them in a piece of white paper, they don't know where to start.
Mm.
See, this is why I also like dotting, because dotting, I mean, for people who don't feel very comfortable creating art, they just have to place a dot and just add dots around and develop from that. They don't have to create anything fancy, just by adding dots around a center dot. It's gonna get them in that meditative state of mind. It's gonna make
Mm.
them relax.
Yeah.
But of course, you go evolve. You evolve. Actually, I mean, you're an amazing artist. I don't think I would ever be able to create something like you know, because it's amazing what you do. But I think also every person has a gift. It's
Mm.
a matter of developing this gift. I mean,
Yeah.
who would have thought that at 42 years old, I was going to be making this? You know, if someone had, I was a treasurer in a
Yeah.
Dutch multinational, very
Yes.
serious, all tied
Yes, I
up.
was going to ask you about your background, Yossi, because we didn't touch on that to start with, because you came from a corporate background, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, for 20 years I worked for two multinationals. I was in the financial field, specifically treasury. It's very, it's the banks. It's all very
Mm.
serious. It's all about the markets, the economy. I was going crazy because I looked after the Latin American markets and all these, screens with currencies, euros and dollars and everything going on, and the local currencies of the Latin American countries. And then I started creating mandalas when I was still in the corporate world. And I said, like, I am more relaxed. I am making more confident decisions. So mandalas is not only for, this is how I came up with this idea. It's not only for people, esoteric people,
Mm.
people who are, into yoga, or no, anybody can create a
Yes.
mandala. It doesn't even have to be beautiful. In our community of students, we have lawyers, we have people looking after kids from military, we have doctors, we have nurses, we have one doctor that works in intensive care, and sometimes they have to dismember like a leg or something. I mean, and she's a doctor and she's creating the mandalas for herself to relax.
Yes, I imagine in that field that would be a beautiful balance, actually. Yeah.
Yeah, and then she's gifting that to their
Oh,
patients
that's lovely.
so they can relax, and she teaches them how to meditate. I mean,
Oh,
it's
wow.
it's incredible. It's
That's it.
pretty,
That's amazing.
yeah. What I said, it's a chain of favors in the end, because I am teaching someone that is also helping another person. Or, for example, if there's a stress, I have other situations, like it's a mom, it's their kids paying the class because their mom was depressed or sad because she was, no longer taking care of small kids. These are grown men paying the class for their mother, so they have something to do. And then if you look deeper, it's not art, it's a mother that was sad,
Mm.
making the whole family sad because she was sad.
Yeah,
And
yeah,
now it's a mom that in the morning has a project to do,
yeah,
and she's happy, and then the family is happy.
yeah.
So, in the end, it's a connection. It's beyond. It's really healing art. It's
Mm.
it's not only. That's why I told you, like, it's not selling a class. It's
Mm.
like changing people's lives, and in the end, I think that's the legacy, the contribution that we can give to the world somehow.
Yeah. That's beautiful, Yossi. I love that. I was going to ask you how you felt motherhood had changed your journey in life and your creativity.
I think creating my kids made me creative.
Mm.
This is something. I mean, I discovered this creativity because of my kids. And what is crazy is sometimes I don't feel because sometimes it's like I want to dedicate some time to spend time with them, and sometimes I am with my kids and I have an idea and I don't want to lose it. And when I go and paint and I cannot do that because I want to be full minded into being with them. These things are, it's like debating time, I would
Mm.
say. But also, at the beginning, I would stress out about that, how to balance. And then now, no, I'm not more stressed anymore. I don't try to push it. If it is the time for my kids, it's the time for my kids. If it is the time to create art, or sometimes I invite them to create with me. Like,
Yeah.
sit there, I gave them, and they are involved in the process. See? Or sometimes I ask them, like, what colors can I use? And they would come with the craziest combinations of colors.
They're often bolder than we are, I think, with their
Yeah,
creativity.
absolutely. But I think it's a matter of adapting, not stressing out, like devote your time to creation, devote your time to the kids. If an idea comes out while you are with your kids, keep like a notebook, and I keep this with me, like a notebook and a pen, so I write quickly. And I would say that the toughest thing has been time management,
Yeah.
devoting time for husband, kids. But honestly, all this creativity exploded after I became a mom.
Yeah. It's interesting that, isn't it? It's like it cracks something open in you.
But honestly, all my life I thought I was not creative.
Mm.
And also, I thought I was not able to contain my emotions. And that's why I had to go and work for a corporation, because then the corporations have a plan to follow. And if I am emotional, I cannot show it up because I need to do my work. See? So I was somehow, I enjoyed my time in corporate and I learned a
Mm.
lot. I don't regret being part of it. Then when I became like aware that I had to live that life to dedicate myself fully into healing other people. Yeah, it was crazy because you're used to a paid salary, you're used to routines, and
Mm.
that you have a boss you report to, you have people who report to you, and then you have to hide your emotions. Sometimes you have to have like a corporate mask. You
Yeah.
cannot really show who you are because
Mm.
you're trying to fit in into a corporation. And then, of course, was it easy to go from one work to the other, in which I had to create everything from scratches? Even my authority, because nobody knew me. Nobody, who's this lady who's
Yeah.
saying that, all that stuff. And yeah, I had to believe too much in myself. I had to believe that I could handle my emotions, that I could show who I am without regret. I show that to my students. Sometimes we're working in a geometry and it goes wrong. It's not because I don't know the geometry, it's because that day I'm not fully aligned.
Mm.
And I show them I made this mistake, but I'm gonna show you how I'm gonna fix it. you
Right.
know?
Yeah.
Okay, and then if I made this mistake, it was because it was meant to be done. So I show you a way around the mistake. Don't blame yourself if you make a mistake.
Mm. I imagine it would be quite easy with mandalas. I don't know to make a mistake because I just see how intricate they are and the dots, and I'm like, yeah, it blows my mind, yeah, what you do with them and how, like I said, beautifully intricate they are.
No, but believe it or not, it all starts with just a center dot and a circle.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like, for example, I also see your art and I see the perfection of the body proportions and the faces of people. I mean, if you make me draw a person, it's gonna be a draw of a 5-year-old girl.
It's funny, we probably get used to what we like our own little area that we're in, don't we?
Yeah, but it goes, I mean, it's all about practice, right?
Yes, yes.
Like, first you
Building that
don't
skill.
believe you can do it. And then if you, I had a teacher like Sancha, I believe she will explain perfectly how to make a nose, how to make the eyes that you do with expression. I mean, it's like a person. It's not an art. It's a real person in a canvas. It's and yeah, it's encouraging people to believe in themselves. Like,
Mm.
if I can do it, you can do it. So go. If
Yes.
there will be mistakes, there will be bumps in the road. There will be days in which you're gonna wake up and you're gonna quit. But when you know the purpose of something, you just keep going.
Yeah. Yeah, because I was going to ask you about that, Yossi. Yeah, that finding that motivation outside of a corporate job, like working for yourself and doing it every day and, building what you've built.
First, it was a desire to teach, and then see other people do something they thought they could never do. But then lately, it's seeing people out of depression, as I was seeing people receiving messages from their psychologists like, I'm gonna, you don't need to come anymore, or psychiatrists reducing the dose of pills,
Mm,
and people manifesting their houses. When you see people really getting a benefit from that, that encourages you know,
mm,
to keep going. And it's a total feedback between the students and the teacher. Like, I teach you something, you create it, and then you align your energy and something materializes. And when it doesn't, review what is going on, deep dive. Let's deep dive into the subconscious mind to understand that memory that is blocking you, or that
yeah.
limiting belief that is
Mm,
blocking you.
yeah.
What I like about mandalas is that you can combine it with numerology, with sacred geometry, with family constellations, with astrology, with tarot, with anything. You can combine and understand why people are limited. And you can find the craziest things. Sometimes people have been blocked their whole lives about, for example, finding a cool partner, life
Mm,
partner.
yeah.
And then it was because when they were little, something happened with their parents. They saw their parents fight or something, and that memory blocked them from building up a healthy relationship. Or and then once they see that memory creating a mandala, that's the crazy part. They said like, "Oh my God, this is what is blocking me." Months later, they found a partner. It's like, oh my God. And it's not the Aussies. They heal themselves with
Yes.
a guide, with a
Mm,
guide,
yeah.
but they do it. It's pretty cool.
Yeah. That's incredible, Yossi.
Yeah, I'm very happy. Think, I mean, I'm to the point, Sanchi, in which I blessed my postpartum depression every day.
Like you said, for seeing, yeah, every experience as a learning one. And I can see, because we haven't talked for a long time. And so it's
Yeah.
so beautiful to see your journey of the last few years and hear where you are now.
Yeah, and I know the best is yet to come. We're building. If you tell me, like, do you consider yourself successful, or
Mm,
sure this is what I want to reach, achieve? I,
yes.
I don't need a recognition anymore. I used to be
Mm,
behind number of followers and stuff. Like, I don't anymore. I am more into how many students have really changed their lives, and the rest will come. I mean, the
mm,
rest, the enrollment, the money that I need to invest in my ads or whatever, they will eventually come. But
mm.
when people focus on the purpose, the rest comes along.
Yeah.
It's like magic, I can tell you. When I started this, I was like behind replacing with one job with the other my paid salary in the corporation. But as the idea, and I was not getting students. Then when I started thinking like, well, what I really want is just material money, or I want a purpose. See, and money is great. I mean, it's
Yes, it allows us to do what we need to do.
exactly, it's a great resource, and nobody
Mm,
has to be ashamed for wishing money. But money without a purpose, there has to be a purpose for that.
yeah.
Eventually everything started to fly. Putting these two things together really helped out. And I still need to do a lot of I still need to develop many things. I still need to look inside me. Also, keep analyzing myself and eliminating my diluting somehow my limiting beliefs, because we are here to do that, and to learn, and there's a lot of work to do. I mean, my goal, if you tell me, it's like I want 1 million people pay. I don't even need to be recognized, but if I have 1 million people, not in social media or whatever, just saying, we painted mandalas, we healed, we understand now who we are and how to use the mandala to manifest, even if it takes me 10, 15 years to do that.
Mm.
The postpartum depression paid off.
Yeah, because I was going to ask you, yeah, like future projects, where do you want to head with what you're doing?
Yeah, now we're in a point of escalation. I mean, the school that I have, it's not only me. Now it's a group of people. I am the one teaching, but I have and doing the holistic therapy sessions. We have a team, the people who manage, the more social media, these kind of things.
Yes. So you're not solely having to look after social media and all
I'm
of those
not.
hats now.
Yeah, I still have a look at them because I have to be there. I like doing my videos. I'm a people person, I like
Mm.
social butterfly. I like talking to people and engaging people and all that. But I have the other team members doing the more administrative work and also the more strategic. Checking, okay, if you want to reach 1 million, there has to be a strategy behind.
Yeah.
It's something spiritual, but it doesn't have to be without a good structure. Future projects is scaling, how to scale,
Mm.
right? So this is how we're engaged into that, and also working on the communication skills. I think this is something that it's a constant learning, go back, make mistake, and the way I communicate to because there are people like don't know anything about mandalas. They don't know about the benefits of mandalas. So how do I communicate in a simple way in which they see this as an opportunity to reach
Mm.
what they want, and to without making it too complicated, because life so nowadays is so complicated. And if I
Mm.
am going to tell them, listen, there's this opportunity, you can create healing art, you can learn about numbers, you can learn about symbols, and I'm gonna make it like they have to read 100 of pages, 200 pages. People are in a rush all the time, so this is the project. I
Yeah.
talk a lot, as you can see, so I am trying to improve my communication skills to make it more straightforward in a simple way. And this is something that needs some work. Improving myself so I can help others improve themselves. Yeah, basically it's escalation, improve our communication, the way we communicate. I would say that's the project now.
That's awesome, Yossi. Yeah, I was going to ask your advice for probably balancing a fulfilling life with your business, and how do you find that these days with motherhood, being a wife, having your business that you're scaling.
Well, first, Sancha, self care. Self care is a priority to avoid burnout. That means if you need to wake up earlier to go exercise, I found a great source of energy into exercising. I wasn't even walking 100 meters, now I am running. See, so self care is important. Having an agenda that is structured but flexible. I mean, like weekly goals, but if you cannot achieve a goal, goals that are achievable, because sometimes we place goals that we cannot achieve, and that creates frustration. So goals that are truly achievable, but also if something comes out of the blue and you cannot achieve that goal, you do it next week. But do it next week. See,
Mm, mm,
I go old fashioned way. I have a calendar, paper calendar. I have the electronic one too. But eventually things will come out of the blue, like a school meeting or something. See, and I have to apologize to students. Listen, there's something happened in school, you know. But I
mm.
plan ahead, like my month, the next month ahead. But also, if I something comes out, okay, I can adapt this, but I try to achieve the goals that I plan for myself.
Mm.
And also 8 hours sleep. This is important. Resting is important. If I am going to be 1 hour and a half with my kids, it's I leave the phone inside the drawer. I'm not checking the phone. I am with my kids. If I am going to, well, people who have couples, look after your couple too. Go at least to the cinema once a week or every 15 days with your husband, or your wife, or your partner life. Go do something that both like. A movie, no, without kids. Yeah, because I struggled a little bit with that. On the weekends, I try not to work. I sometimes have to post something, but if the weekends, I try to rest
Mm.
as much as possible. But self care is important.
Yeah.
Writing your next day goals before you go to sleep is important. I don't have time to meditate. 5 minutes. Come on, just 5 minutes. So your mind is blank for 5 minutes. Allow yourself that. Even if you're in the car, check, okay, what did I plan for today? What have I accomplished? What I have not.
Mm.
Sometimes driving also, it's a good timing to be, of course, you're driving, but also you can be talking to myself. I sound like crazy, but it's good.
I've never been someone who talks to myself, but my daughter does it all the time, and she'll just have conversations, and it's so interesting because I'd say to her, who are you talking to, and but she just loves talking, and it's like, yeah, she works stuff out when she's doing that.
It's therapeutical to talk to
Yeah.
yourself. And I tell people here in the house, like, if you listen to me talking to myself, I don't care if you think I'm crazy. I just have a meeting with myself.
Yeah, yeah.
I think self-care is important. If you're not okay, the rest is not okay.
Mm,
And having this plan, an agenda structured by flexible, don't go crazy if something doesn't happen as planned. You can do it
yeah.
next week. The world isn't going to end because of that.
Yeah, I was going to ask your advice here. See, just this is something that I hear come up with artists quite often. Is what would your advice be when somebody feels like they've got so many ideas that they feel overwhelmed with how to achieve them, and that they feel like they keep failing?
I would say keep a book with all the ideas and part of the self care, because then your mind is overwhelming. See, I would say write everything, go wild, go wild. Put like a relaxing music. Tell your kids and husband, don't bother me for an hour. Talk to yourself through it. Go wild thinking. Limitless,
Mm,
crazy ideas that you don't have a budget for. Go for them. Those are the best ones. And then you read them out loud. And while you read them, feel, hear what vibrates stronger.
mm,
Sometimes there are few that you can implement quickly. You can divide those ideas in short term, long term. That happened to me along like a couple of years ago. I came out with different ideas about how to put out my classes. And you know what happened to me? I didn't on and probably you think like, my God, these ideas are spectacular in the
mm.
book, but
Yeah.
in the materialization. So what I did was that I wrote everything that I could try, and I saw them not at failure. It's learning. I mean, if you try this path and this doesn't take you to your what you want, this is important. It's important that you have where you want to be. What do you want to achieve in a sentence? In terms of idea, money, and whatever, but it has to be like a very clear that you can look at every day. And those ideas are ways to go to that. It's like you are driving to Sydney and there are many roads. Which one
Mm,
is the one that is going to take you there? Sometimes you're going to take a road that is a bad decision, but you're going to learn through that
mm.
road. See, and the next one is probably going to be better, probably going to be worse. Do that separate and short term, long term, because in the end, you want to know if these ideas are going to work out or not. And the only way to see if they're going to work out or not is implementing them.
Yes, yes, the actual action part.
Exactly. It's like, okay, this I can try quicker and then I'm gonna know. And once you know if they're gonna take you to your objective or no, see, it's like you're taking away. I tried that and it didn't work.
Mm.
So they don't occupy your mind anymore. Or they might give you other ideas you didn't consider
Yeah,
first.
yeah. Yeah, but you've got that path. I like that analogy of, yeah, you know where you're kind of headed.
And also revisiting. I have a list things of, for example, manifestations in process. See? And every now and then I go and check, well, I did this, I did that. There are some that might not happen in the short run, but at least I have them.
Mm,
Yeah, this is important. This is important to write the ideas. Keep a log and separate them: short run, long run, medium term, and then you see which one have worked out and not. If they didn't work out, it's important to analyze why they didn't work out. Why do you think? And why did they get me a good result? But you have to implement them.
yeah, it's a balance of the two, isn't it? The manifestation plus the action.
Exactly. For example, I want a trip for December, and it's kind of wild idea. My husband even doesn't like the idea of what I have.
Oh, yeah.
And yeah, because he says like, oh, it's too much, it's too long, blah blah blah. And I want to make Sapa trip in which I combine snow and desert.
Oh wow. Okay. Yeah.
See,
See, even my mind goes, okay, where would that happen? Mm.
yeah, exactly. Like, let's go to a very cold place and then a very hot place.
Yeah.
And then he says, like, you're crazy. So I don't tell him my visualizations because he can block my
Okay. Yeah.
visualizations.
Yeah.
I keep
I
them
can
to
identify.
myself. And then, yeah, I don't know, but I still do it. I mean, I'm still working on it. Like, how
So,
much
so if
is
it
the
comes about, do you just hand him the ticket and say we're going?
yeah, like ask vacations
Yeah.
in the company you work for. But what I think is okay, and I still don't have the funds for this trip
Mm.
because it's kind of wild. It's not luxurious, but it's
Yeah.
wild.
Yeah.
And then
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. I'm not gonna think that I still don't have the funds because the trip exists in the quantum field. And
Yeah.
what I do is just checking the flight, checking hotels, and somehow this is gonna come out. Who knows? We make another podcast in which I tell you, did you remember
We'll
the
have to
last
we'll have to check in. Yeah. See what
yeah,
comes about.
everything's possible, Sancha. Everything.
See,
Everything's
I'm
possible.
excited to try this too, Yossi. So if we do check in like say 12 months, we'll have to
Yeah,
see.
yeah, yeah.
I like the idea of creating your theme park in this quantum realm. I'm like, what would that look like?
But you can imagine quantum Rome. How
Yeah.
would quantum Rome? And then if you practice visualization, I mean to practice visualization in the mandala, you can paint it, draw it, even
Mm.
if you're not a good designer or drawer. It doesn't
Yeah.
matter if you don't sketch well. Just draw how you think. And from that, it's easier to visualize.
Yeah. I was going to say, like, for someone who's got no idea, where would they start with visualizing and manifesting in the way you describe?
No, you start drawing in a basic Pisces, for example, in a sacred geometry. Just two circles intersecting. People, you don't need to know geometry to do that. Take two dishes. I mean, I put one on top
And
of the
overlap them,
other.
okay, yep. Or a
Exactly.
protractor
And
or, yeah, something.
exactly. And then in the center, that is like the enter of all the body, has this shape of
So it's
basic
is it like
Pisces.
the almond
Yeah,
shape?
the almond.
Okay.
Yeah, the basic Pisces like this. And then
Okay.
in the center, draw anything you want to make it happen. If it is a place, you can have a vision board, of course, you go see. But what matters is not the vision board, it's that when you create that, your connections, your neurons make connections that create a chemical response with the neurotransmitters. And then the emotion, like, oh my God, imagine eating a pizza in Rome, and then imagine that you're feeling the wine with the nice pizza, and who are you with, and what are you feeling? This is a chemical process in the body, and this is what needs to be done. There's a very easy exercise so people can start visualizing. Close your eyes, imagine you go to your kitchen and you open the drawer, you take a knife and you cut a lemon. This is a very simple exercise to start visualizing. And then there are people who even can smell the lemon. Just imagine that simple action and then you take it from there. You start
Mm.
including other things like you get in the plane, you get your visa approved. Then
Yeah.
imagine sitting in the on the plane, arriving, seeing, I don't know, the Eiffel Tower for the first time, seeing the Coliseum. It's a way to be creative but in your imagination and you
Yeah.
draw it.
Yeah,
Draw it in a
I find
circle.
if you bring all the senses in, visualization can become really powerful. So, like, if you're like, what do I see? What do I feel? What do I hear? You know, what does the breeze feel like on my skin in that place? It's a way I've found to make visualization quite a rich experience.
And it only takes 2 minutes. I mean, close
Mm,
the eyes before you go to sleep. And then think about the hardest desire you have in your heart and imagine it happening.
mm,
With happiness from gratefulness, not from scarcity.
yes. Yeah.
Yeah, everything from gratefulness. Thank already because it exists in the quantum field.
Yeah.
And you just need the connection. The connection is the thoughts with emotion. Then you
Mm,
enhance your field, your electromagnetic field, and draw it
yeah.
in a circle, inside a circle. It doesn't have to be a nice drawing. This is a
Yeah.
manifesting man.
Huh.
So,
Yeah, I like that manifesting map. Oh, that's incredible, Yossi. Thank you so much for sharing all you have. I don't think I've ever heard anyone put manifesting quite in those terms. Like, I actually feel quite excited after talking to you to do this for myself, because I've always struggled a little bit with the whole manifesting thing and how it's been portrayed in other ways. So you've helped me see a different perspective, which I'm really grateful for.
I hope it works out. Try it out. Try it out.
Yeah, yeah.
It's gonna be cool.
And so, Yossi, where is the best place for people to find you?
Instagram. I am currently posting more in Spanish, to be honest with you, because the class in Spanish really exploded. But I keep my classes in English too, so it's just dropping a message there and then. It's dot mandalas for fun 7. I use numerology there.
Yeah, yeah.
Is at dot mandalas for fun 7.
Okay.
Yes.
And we'll put that link in the show notes as well.
I'm thankful because of the opportunity and also to touch bases with you after a long time. It's been amazing.
Thank you for joining us on the Trailblazers Palette podcast. We appreciate your support. Don't forget to subscribe and share if you enjoyed the episode. Stay tuned for more inspiring conversations with incredible guests. Keep blazing your trail, and until next time, stay inspired. This is Sancha, your host, signing off. See you soon, Trailblazers.